video, I will help you to learn how you can boost your emotional intelligence so you will be able to build stronger relationships and achieve your goals. My name is Julia George, and during my flying career within Qatar Airways, I have successfully completed emotional intelligence and cultural intelligence trainings that led me to build up a successful career that lasted for 10 years until I have decided to move over here in Germany and continue to grow in the aviation industry. Let's start. The intellectual ability, or our intelligence quotient, if we may say, isn't just enough on its own to achieve the success that we want to achieve in our individual lives. Yes, it's our intelligence level that helps us to enroll ourselves into universities, into college, but it's actually our emotional intelligence that is helping us to manage the stress and the emotions that we are facing during different phases, such as exams. The level of intelligence and the emotional intelligence, they exist together and are very effective when they build off one another. The skills that make up your emotional intelligence or my emotional intelligence can be learned at any time. However, please pay attention that it's important to remember that there is a difference between simply learning about emotional intelligence and applying the knowledge that you have learned into your life. Just because you know you should do something doesn't mean that you will, especially when you become overwhelmed by stress, which can be override at any intention, doesn't mean that you will be able to actually do that. And this is exactly what happened when you attend any form of your interview, of your cabin crew interview. But don't worry, after completing this video and after coming to the end, I'm very sure that you will be able to overcome that if you apply whatever I'm going to share with you, not only gather it as a knowledge. Do not forget to like, to comment, and to share my video. Thank you. So in order to permanently change your behavior in ways or in certain ways that can actually help you to stand up whenever you are under pressure, you actually need to learn how to overcome that stress in that particular moment that you're facing the stress. And in your relationships as well, because you're building up relationships on a daily basis in order to remain and to be something called emotionally intelligent or emotionally aware. The key skills to build your emotional intelligence that will help you to improve your ability to manage your emotions as well as to easily be able to connect with others are 4 segments that we have to pay attention in today's video. We will talk about self-management, we will talk about self-awareness, we're going to talk about social awareness and the relationship management. I will talk separately about these 4 things. And as I have mentioned, if you implement each and every word that I'm going to share with you in today's video, I'm very sure that the next recruitment process for you will be just a piece of cake and you will be able to display yourself as more emotionally intelligent person and definitely be selected for the job role of a cabin crew, irrespective that is for commercial flight attendant or for a corporate or executive private jet flight attendant. Let's start. Let's talk about this self-management. In order for you to engage your emotional intelligence, you must be able to use your emotions to make constructive decisions about your behavior. When you are becoming overstressed, you can actually lose control of your emotions and the ability to act thoughtfully and appropriately in those particular situations. Think about a time when a stress has overwhelmed you. Was it easy to think clearly or to make rational decisions at this time? Probably not. When you become overly stressed, your ability to both think clearly and accurately assesses emotions and your own emotions in this case, and also other people's emotions, they become compromised. Emotions are very important pieces of information that are telling about you, about yourself, and about others. But in the face of stress that takes us out of our comfort zone, we can actually become overwhelmed and we can lose control of ourselves. With the ability to manage stress and to stay emotionally present, you can actually learn how to receive upsetting information without letting this information to override your thoughts, and you will be able to have something called self-control. You will be able to make choices that will allow you to control impulsive feelings and behavior, and also you will be able to manage your emotions in a healthy way that will take initiative, you will follow through on commitment, and you will be able to adapt to the changing circumstances, which are situations in which every cabin crew is finding himself or herself in. The cabin crew interview process by itself is a stressful experience for almost every candidate, and simply sometimes it looks impossible to change that stressor, if I may say. We look at the interview as a stressor, but you certainly can change yourself in this situation. Make sure you remember this. You can adapt yourself to that stressful situation, and you can regain your sense of control by changing your expectations and attitude. You can do something called as reframe problems. Please try to view these stressful situations, this interview, from a more positive perspective. Rather than fuming about that it's going to be a lot of people who will be looking at you over there, try to look at the interview process as an opportunity where you're going to make friends, you're going to be able to listen and gather a lot of experience from other people, and you will be able to learn something new from everyone over there. Now look at the bigger picture as well. Take perspective on the stressful situation. Ask yourself how important it will be to attend that interview on a longer run. Will it matter for a month or a year? Is it really worth to getting over that? If the answer of this question is no, then please focus your time and energy on something else. But if the answer is yes, then you definitely have to be able to go over it. Adjust your standard. Perfectionism is a major source of avoidable stress. Stop setting yourself up for failure by demanding perfections. Set reasonable standards for yourself and for others as well, and learn to be just okay and to be good enough. You don't have to go into the perfection phase, as I have mentioned earlier. Please, last but not the least from this group that I'm going to mention in terms of stress management, try to practice gratitude. When stress is getting you down, take a moment to reflect on all the things that you appreciate in your life, including your own positive qualities and gifts. This simple strategy can really help you to keep things into a perspective, and this simple strategy that I have shared it with you by reminding yourself that you are grateful for what you have, that you have something special, you're not going to be comparing yourself with the other candidates, you're going to look at the interview process as a positive experience, will definitely keep things into a much better perspective. I can promise you that. Let's talk about self-awareness. Managing stress is just the first step to build your emotional intelligence. The science of attachment indicates that your current emotional experience is likely a reflection of your early life experience. Your ability to manage core feelings such as anger, sadness, fear, joy, they often depend on the quality and the consistency of your early life emotional experiences. If your primary caretaker as an infant has understood and have valued your emotions, it is likely that your emotions have become valuable assets in your adult life right now. But if your emotional experience as an infant were confusing, were threatening, or were painful, it is likely that you've tried to distance yourself from your emotions. But being able to connect to your emotions right now, having a moment-to-moment connection with your changing emotion experience is actually the key to understand how emotion influences your thoughts and your actions. In other words, what I want to share over here, it's never too late to get reconnected with yourself. I have a question for you. Do you experience feelings that flow, encountering one emotion after another as your experiences are actually changing from a moment to a moment? Are your emotions accomplished by physical sensations that you experience in places like your stomach, your throat, or your chest? Do you experience individual feelings and emotions such as anger, sadness, fear, joy, as I have mentioned, each of which is, evident in a suitable facial expressions? Now, can you actually experience intense feelings that are strong enough to capture both your attention and the attention of others around you? Think about one more aspect. Do you pay attention to your emotions? Do they factor into your decision-making process? How do you bring decisions? If any of these experiences that I have mentioned right now are unfamiliar, you may have something called a turned down or turned off moment, or turned off of your emotions. And in order to build up that emotional intelligence that we talk about over here and become emotionally intelligent person, you first have to think of reconnecting to your core emotions. You have to be able to accept them and become comfortable with them. You can achieve this through something called mindfulness. There are ways to practice mindfulness, and this video is not about practicing mindfulness. I'm going to give you an idea about mindfulness, yet please write this down as it is very essential. Mindfulness actually is the practice of purposely focusing on your attention on the present moment and without judgment. The cultivation of mindfulness has roots in Buddhism, but most religions include some type of similar prayer or meditation techniques. Now, mindfulness actually helps to shift your preoccupation with thoughts towards the appreciation of the moment of what is happening, your physical and your emotional sensations, as well as to bring a larger perspective on our lives. Mindfulness actually calms and focuses us. It helps us to calm down, to focus us, and it also helps us to make us more self-aware about the process and about the feelings that we are experiencing. Ladies and gentlemen, our mind wanders all the time, either reviewing the past or planning for the future. Mindfulness teaches us the skill of paying attention to the present by noticing when our mind wanders off. Let's come back to our breath. It's a place where we can rest and settle our minds. We'll talk about this social awareness as well. The social awareness enables us to recognize and interpret the mainly non-verbal clues which others are constantly using to communicate with us. Now, these clues can actually let us know how often are others really feeling, how their emotional state is changing at that moment to a moment, and what is truly important to the people that we are communicating with. Now, when groups of people are sending out similar non-verbal clues, you or me or all of us, we are able to read and understand the power dynamics and the shared emotional experiences of the group. In a short while, you will be able to be empathetic and to be socially comfortable. Now, mindfulness, as I have mentioned previously, is a united part to the emotional and to the social awareness as well. To build up your social awareness, you actually have to recognize or to be able to identify the importance of mindfulness in this social process. After you have done that, you can pick up on the suitable nonverbal clues when you are in your own head, and you can start thinking about the other things or simply zoning out on your phone, let's say. Social awareness requires you to be present in every moment. While many of us will pride ourselves on our ability to multitask, this means that you will miss this, suitable emotion shifts which are taking place in other people that will actually help you to fully understand them. So I don't believe in multitasking when it comes to emotions. You are actually more likely to further your social goals by setting other thoughts aside, and you will be able to focus on the interaction itself. Following the flow of another person's emotional responses is actually a give and take process that requires you to also pay attention to the changes in your own emotional experience. So you cannot distinguish yourself from these kind of situations. Now, paying attention to others doesn't diminish your own self-awareness. By investing the time and the effort to really pay attention to what others feel, think, you will actually gain insight into your own emotional state, as well as you will get an insight on your own values and your own beliefs. For example, if you feel not comfortable hearing about others' experience or others' certain views, you might have an opportunity to actually learn something which is important about yourself. How do you feel when you are hearing this kind of things which are for some people are not comfortable? Maybe for you it will be comfortable. It will be okay to know about and to listen to them. So this is basically what I mean. Relationship management. Working well with others is actually a process that begins with your emotional awareness and with your ability to recognize and to understand what the other people are experiencing. Once the emotional awareness is played or it's there, you can actually effectively develop additional social / emotional skills that will be able to make your relationships with people more effective, more fruitful, more fulfilling, and more easy to etablate. Become more aware of how effectively you can use the non-verbal communication. It is very impossible to avoid, sending non-verbal messages to others about what you think or what you feel, unless you are, really good actor. But during the recruitment process, it's a long period of time that is not so easy. Now, the main muscles are actually in the face, especially those around the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the forehead, and they are actually helping you to wordlessly convey your own emotions, as well as to read other people's emotional intents. Now, the emotional part of your brain is always on, remember this, and even if you ignore the message, other people will not be able to ignore it and will be able to see it, especially the recruiters. Now, recognizing the non-verbal messages that you send to others can actually play a huge part in improving your overall presence and appearance during that open day, and you will be able to easily build relationships. Please try to use humor and to play in order to relieve stress. Now, humor, laughter, they're natural ways to de-stress yourself. They lessen your bundles and they help you keep things into perspective. Laughter brings your nervous system into a balance, reducing stress, calming you down, sharpening your mind, and it actually makes you to look more empathetic, makes you to look more excited, energetic. It depends what is the conversation. Learn to see the conflict as an opportunity to grow and to become closer to others. Conflicts and disagreements are actually inevitable in human relationships. Two people can't possibly have the same needs, opinions, and expectations at all points of time. However, that needs not to be looked as a bad thing. Resolving conflicts is actually healthy. Constructive ways can actually strengthen the trust between people when we are resolving conflicts. And when conflict isn't perceived in a threatening or a punishing way, it fosters freedom, creativity, and safety in the relationships. And this is the core reason why the recruiters will be asking you all those questions regarding conflicts. Have you ever had conflicts previously in your job? They would actually want to see how you are looking at the conflict. Are you looking at the conflict as a way, as a constructive way that is there to strengthen the trust between the people? And if you amplify and you learn about what I have said related to the conflict right now, you for sure are going to be looked as a candidate who's definitely emotionally intelligent. And I sincerely hope that by coming until the end of this video, you have learned some of the key factors that are important in order to think about, to reconsider, such as the mindfulness, such as the stress management, and all the things that we talked about that will later on your next open day, assessment day, final interview, irrespective, it is a cabin crew position, you are a fresher for a commercial airline, or you're somebody who's looking to work in the private aviation field, this is certainly equally helpful to everyone. Thank you very much for watching this series related to the emotional intelligence, and I'm going to be seeing you very soon. Before I leave, please help my channel to grow and hit the subscribe button with the notification bell on, and I'm going to be seeing you very soon. Bye bye and have a nice day.